completely liberated from the pulse of real and unreal, transcending the names of an attribute of rising, succession, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation of denial. The sublime mandala is the natural state. By offering it, mind will be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Juju Deva Dakini, Om Juju Deva Dakini Ratna Mandala Rachija Soha.
首先，我们念皈依发心经。
三界觉当作尽求能来将军本德的内就是解大概经所经别错难起若了偏起三界这不说三界觉当作尽求能来将军本德的内就是解
诸佛正法圣众会，直至菩提，我皈依，我以布施诸功德，为利有情，愿成佛。
I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Manam gada nyambe samjen tamjen deva dan deve judan dembra juru je donge dan donge je judan jevra jurus donge mebe deva dan mendra varan juru je nyen chadan nyedan charve danyum Nebra juru je manam gada nyambe samje tamje deva dan deve judan dembra juru dunge dan dunge je judan trevra je dunge mebe deva dan mendra juru
愿一切众生觉得极利恶因，愿一切众生离苦集苦因，愿众生不离无苦之妙乐，愿永离爱憎，常住平等舍。
May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and
七支供养。
长子瓦当出见下巴当结束也让归心所瓦也给我众生大概介绍他们且左边强制全部
顶礼以及供养忏悔语，学习功德，敦请其注释。凡诸为许善业，我积聚，总为圆满菩提而回向。
For the sake of complete enlightenment.
供曼达。
萨贤不觉出现没多张日灵学你的肩膀的三界显度每个普外这个南大显度就不是说故所用作拉美所能拉前那上松的心你进去道路龙就那些用心把拉面交给我做这的说我个人的我这个
四周宇宙世界之坛城，广如大海世界善福报，一切无漏随喜妙供养，祈祷慈悲互爱有情众。自身享乐及所拥有物，蕴界无根，现在与未来，一切我与我执诸实物，供养加持及灭我执心，有无时无边解脱界，生灭往住来趋长与断灭，超越名相本性曼达共，净供愿正至尊无二宝过。
Om Guru Devada Kin Ratna Pratichai Suha。
金转法的
三巴堂罗音千转觉得哇，切中提蒙提拜，
一切众生之思会根据不同而见之，共与不共大小乘，其情因情转法轮。
And the teaching common to both according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Garden some dance of la measure the lama yedam chuzon osoran de so da juchinjelo and jending of the Dumbazo Sanje, Kanturmo, Bardella Marish, Tujeran, Tarvelam, Dumbayon, Shenyanum, Lagujan, Loda, Hamem, J. Wombodan, Jurgen, also Chuna, Java, Jevan, Sanjas or the Shishin, the Vijiju. The Danche, Dambechin, Bayan, Dreshe. Namgadanyam Bessenje Tamjejetundo, Tujalana Mebrayan Tabrozo, Sanjiji, Kombantam, Jinajan Tobracha, Tichedu, Tambechu, Samula, Tebada, Sambatam, Gombegon, and Juberju, Nyambe Tujeba, Saltam December show, Telandre Kanji, Semberchevi Chu, Tenet Tambechu Gumbachi Vijung, Shishawara, Tini, Bata, Tinane, Tenekasan Tom Tambo, Chunkurgutum, Teniba Tendergutum. Zumba Susutar Tom, or Tende Chasang, de Shu Simbare, Tatanda Ganzotine, Chanchu Simbeg, Chongin, Sure Chief Captain in Bare.
现在我们这边发心，为了利益一切这个众生，我们应该如此的发心。我们要在这个仔细聆听法教，也就是正法义共齐。
Last time we have finished about the Dharma Chakra unit and also the
我们已经完成了这个法轮要义品这个缘起要义品，也讲完了别解脱要义品，现在是在菩萨界菩提心要品4。
Right now we are in the middle of this bodhisattva vows. That's all.
Oh yeah. Tatani Tandandi German Kejurdoa. Oh yeah. Tatani oh the Shuyate, the Dorji song. Then you should touch it become a Shurchibarwa. Tati should do Tane Tina Karisum Barsana. Tommy Kundu Shing the Dambasao, say Tati song. Tati in Duzane. These so Karisungers and Antonamjin. Taji. 야 제바 부여래 마 짐바 단계 요래 텐데가도 손놈게 초 자침보 직 사유여와 텐데잖에 손놈게 초 사바테 테네 직 팽 자침보 직 토버 제발라 조고 찾숨 참고를 남주 이제 된 성공게 단다 깜붐 던선한 제남 테네 용도 텐데잖에 신 삼바 Ngobos the Tisum the Sangue Bekachimores. That's it under coach Jimbajatawa Shang the water Samba Sum Sangirua. In a Titawa the young Tabaji Santubaji, Shing Tabaji, Ngubo Tabaji, Samba Tabaji, the Tabasum de Bekachures and so on with the Induzane, that Tandan Dene Tambo Samba Chubaji Punayanda. Then I send to Jimbachitana and Kandriang, Gawa Kandi Sabayinayang, Cousin Humashuana Shinchene, Teneji, Namkadanyam Simja Tamjig Tundu, then a Gawandi, 즉 루긴 삼베드네 삼바 첨부 지야데 개치슈레 스탠드 삼바 타바서 같은데 지고 위해서래.
So now we are at the
今天从第21季开始，就是菩提心要品或者是菩萨戒的部分。
And it is
一切高低依
profound when
田
person of higher
甚
and lower
深
capacity
诀。
always choose a higher support for merit. So what it means here is what the Jiten Sungin means here is that when we are doing an offering or when we are making like kind of generosity, it's very important to have like three kind of point. That is, one is the field when you are making an offering. That is the perfect field, and also the perfect kind of the motivation, and perfect kind of the materials or object. Like for example, in order to accumulate the merit in a very vast and in a very extensive form, we need these three things. One is the field, one is the motivation, and one is the material. These three things in a perfect of these three things. So for example, even if you're offering or even if you're making generosity, one should have to have motivation first, that in order to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings, this kind of extensive motivation is required.
那这第21季一切高低依田甚深诀。那么这吉天公主师在这边讲到说，我们不论是在行供养或者是行布施的时候，应该有3个要点。第一个就是我们的资粮田，就是我们供养的对象是圆满的。那第二个呢，是我们的发心是圆满的，第三个是供养物是圆满的。那这样子3圆满之后，这个就会这个能够圆满这样子的一个修持，也就是善行，不管是布施或者是供养都一样。那么这个发心呢，就是为了一切利益有情众生来行这种供养或者是布施，应该首先要在布施前要有这样子的发心才好。
tene yang chi soso la pendo mewe ngobo tene pecho tangwa ina yang pecho tang mutube ngobo tena shen tene chi dudan tebe ngobo yana parur boge tene chi le dang so la nebe ngobo la suwanda waji ina ten tanzo bo madaba songo yoro ten tende ma yinbar tene chi cheba puya ngobo ina yang pe zangxing yidong wa jimba tanya ngobo ina yang mune chi parur pola pen to ba지 wada 텐데기 ngobo지 그네 고요레 스테인데 자네 그네 니바데 ngobo 타바스나 송바
And the second, when we talk about the
第二部分是讲供养物的圆满。
is like when you are offering the materials, whether it's an offering or whether it's in generosity for giving. So when you're doing this, you have to have a very perfect kind of materials. For example, the materials for, even if it's a material for the offering, it has to be perfect and it has to be attractive, nice, and the best of the best. And it is not like we brought it as it, you got it by thieving it on something, not something like that. You have to acquire by yourself with your hardship or whatever. And and also when you are like kind of generosity, when you're offering to the other people, then your offering should be your generosity, the offering should be like good material, which is not like kind of which is not beneficial to oneself. Because of that, I'm offering to the people. It's not something like that. It has to be which is beneficial to yourself, but it's also beneficial to the other people. And also it is not related with the poisons, because like if there is poison, then it is not beneficial. And also it is like kind of not related with the, which is like harmful for their life, harmful for their body and life. And it has to be rather helpful for the other sentient beings, not as it is harmful to their life and their body, but rather it has to be like helpful for the other sentient beings. So therefore, the second one is second perfect materials. This is known as like the second.
那么刚刚讲到第二个部分，就是供养物的这个圆满呢，就主要就是我们在对上的供养或者是对下的布施的时候，我们要供圆满的这个东西，那应该是我们能力所范围可及最好的看起来也是很好的。那么用自己之力把最好的来供养或者是布施，在布施给其他人的时候也应该是给好的东西，而且这个我们要有这样子的心念，就是不只是要利益自己，最主要是在利益他人。所以呢，这个不能够有任何的不好的东西，比如说加了毒药，或者是对他人的生命或身体有所伤害者。应该我们所布施的东西应该是对其他人有帮助有利益的东西，这就是供养物的圆满。
칼라티 고베 그거 말해 단다 고요 말해 대나 신도 되네 양지 팔을 보기 소소라 줄지
有点时间先把偈颂念一下好了。一切高低依田甚深訣，善宝存为极之方便。所积轮涅诸善回善根，一回善根于佛法上师。这个是菩萨戒的最后4品。那么密咒称戒的前面6品念一下好了。其他之中亦有密咒教，心生灌顶义时方得灌。虽为一方本尊亦可灌，不生了证喻义不通晓。生起次第本来即圆成，自生行者须入坛仪轨。
And the third one is like a field, an object of offering. And when we talk about the object of offering, there comes 2 different categories. One is like offering to the like Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And it is stated that the field has to be perfect. When the field is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, or one's own parents, or one's own teacher or master, it is regarded as the perfect field to offer, perfect object to an offering, you know. So like, and also sometimes, you know, when you're offering, like when the people beings who are in really need of it, the offerings, or when they are in a difficult situation and they're really in need of that, or sometimes like when they're in difficult conditions, then is regarded as the perfect object of offering. Not like, you know, for example, if somebody is full of, like their stomach is filled up food and, you know, they don't require that. And it's not like a perfect object to be offered. Or sometimes like somebody is warning you, or you're put into difficult situation to, you know, kill yourself, and you have to make an offering. This kind of offering is not actually the perfect offerings. But if your offering is like when there's very required, very necessity is there, then if you're making an offering for certain beings, this is known as a perfect offerings. And also it is a basis to accumulate vast and extensive kind of the merits.
那么第3个部分就是我们供养的这个对象，或者是说布施的对象。所谓供养的对象，不管是佛啊、僧团啊，或者是上师，就是我们的资粮田呢，这个是我们认为是圆满的。那么供养的东西呢，其实最好的就是他们很需要的东西，那这就是所谓的圆满的供养物，而不是给他们已经有很多的东西，比如说他们已经很多食物了，又给他们食物，这就不是太好，也不是说要就是费太大的功夫，比如说甚至是搭上自己性命的，这样都不是一个很好的一个供养的物。那如果有这些条件的话，我们就可以累积广大的这个功德，这些都是我们累积广大功德的这个根本。
싱 담바데페 네 사바레 숨바레 다디 줌생 카레스나 디 줌생 용그레 가스나 추라한테네 또반 통보이나 랑싱기 3번 넘버 타와치 추란 랑싱기 용그로와 다디 인도 3번 타와 차차레 디 토라 다동 추란페 싱 타바지 투송아이나 야보게 토라 야보 차누로와 야보 토라 야보 차누레 야보는 타요 말에 가세 야보 차나 야보래로와 다 주란 싱토 주란한테네 또반 통보래 다 주란은 주바 프로에 값수 다동 싱배 통보 싱 야보지 투송아이나 때는 주란은 주바데 팽요 섬지면 제가 차투야기 고갑한테지 용기요래 대인도 전에 주란 또반 통보이나야 싱드 담가치야 배 개침보래스 다 주란 또반 마와지나야 싱 담야데 배 개침보래 그는 간도지나 삼백의 돈에 즉 3번 넘버 타와지 용깔에 가보래 근데 응부의 돈에 삼성 응부 넘버 타와지 용깔에 가보래 뒤인도 전에 다 신이야 보죠 투송아이나 양 저런 게 개와대 손음 채워다는 별도로와 뒤인도 전에 저런 또번 통부 인견지나인다 또번 마우 인견지나인 최바포와단 짐바갑라 싱데 담같이 해야 돼 개침보래 싱 약슈도 담고 그래 제가 대송한다
So here, the reason why Jiten Sumgin stated is that here, always choose a high support of merit. For merit means like when you're offering, you're making offerings, whether you are in a high realized person or whether you are not a lower realized person, doesn't matter. Usually, some of the people say that when you are a highly realized person, then it's not required to choose the object of offerings, because since you are a realized person, you know what to do and you can do well. But whereas Lord Jiten Sumgin stated that whether you are highly realized or you're not a realized person or lower person, choosing the perfect object of offering is very important. Actually, you might have a motivation. It's no question that since you are a highly realized person, you will have it. But at the same time, the object of offering should have to have a very, like a perfect one. So therefore, you need to choose that perfect object of offerings. In the same way, then if you are a lower person or low realized person, then you need, of course, you need to choose that object of offering and also the materials, and also you have to have the motivation. So therefore, it is all said that always choose a high support for merit. So whether you are a realized person or highly realized person, or you are low realized person. So this the choosing of the object of offering, the perfect offering, is very important.
这个吉田松公祖师这样说的原因，是想他是主要讲的是说，我们在供养的时候，应该是要选最好的，能够高的各个功德。那在供养的时候，无论自己证悟的程度是高是低，都是同样的标准。有些人认为说，如果说自己证悟高的话，程度不用特别去选供养物，因为你本身的证悟高，那这样子就可以了。但是吉田中公祖师认为，无论是证悟的高下呢，我们应该要选择合适好的供养物，这个是很重要的。那么即使你自己的证悟很高，程度很高的话，供养物也应该挑圆满的这个供养物。那么对于那些证悟程度比较低的人，更需要圆满的发心，供养物以及供养物所造这个组成的这个物质成分等等，这点是非常的重要的。
그는 제밤에 불과당 짐바 마당 같은 데 치는 되게 요마와 신 년바 같은 데 투와이나양 소소게 삼배 돈에 신 타과를 줘야 용비요. 티니산에 신 타과텔라 티니 예와 니성 당고래. 즉 유르코란 경원에 타바인데 봐. 즉 유르코란 경원에 타바 마인나양 나랑 경원에 타바임 이치당 타바임 베기 무바지게 돈에 tene jimbala suwa tawaina di phenyo chegire sungere di indu zane bena dacha ge tumba shaja toba tene hun chanchu sembe gui jewa shibe kawla langbo chi ji ge jewa shi barwa di langbo chi chewa pe ringbu yen ken ji ge jewa shi du zane tene ngumba ji ge rida sengge ge ngumba ji ge ta din chewa de toya ge chedu tene 그 chugu tende kone 시신 들어와 근데 근데 주그 올라 다치 캔에 레비용으로 랑보치기 술라 대 레비용도 전에 되네 랑보치기 파다도 전에 답에 개홍 양타바지 폐견도 삼베더니 대바당 무바치는 랑보치를 흘르지 대자버와 되네 단다 응음바 랑보지 생케 주 근댕게 대 랑첸기 술을 내바던 그더니 다들 잡네 ten lambochi de salma risongwa ti riwe ka so ten lambochi ge o ta ngone nge tene ledang nge tene chewan den zo jimba tang se ge yuri ya go chenga thoma songs hain sana simchen la chewa chenken yimba chigi chewa mebe ge dulo tende kene kon chewa menken indongdo chenen gogor tang lemking mechilo tu songs 이내야 땅아 쏘데 션로요레 스탄다 군다제 차로와 대인도 땅에 탑시 가르치면서는 단다 생킹기 응바데 되는 문에게 다지 gelong 양타바 배 섬짐에 잡히더니 지우 장보지가 되는 무바체네 땡인 체와당 내주고 참았더니 진배그 무보 최배그 무보체네 되는 부기 선에 되는 갑대도 섬로 텐데지게 돈에 되는 공 그 식성으로와 어떻게 되는데 되게 쏘는 거 초자체부 쪽에 로지던데 도는 소용도와 대인도 전에 갑대도 짐바탄세기 유코란 경우에 야고지 톱이 말했대 이내 짐바탄 경우에 율 야고지 담자과 인상 로게 담자과 인상 근데 쏘는 거 초자 채와서도 요 대인도 전에 야지 따고래 생 다과지 톱면도 손에 내자와 있는 되요 말에 대인도 소소응은 삼배톤에 신 타발라더니 주리아한테 용기요래 대인도 전에 다 tenzo체에 단다 토면근도 신은 담바서 세연 네가 그랬더니 계좌한테 지그래
Also, like when we are talking about the choosing the object of offerings, there are two usually, like it comes like a two different kind of, like the field of an object, the perfect object, or like the Buddha and Buddha Dharma and Sangha. It's actually the kind of the object of the perfect offerings. Somehow, they are one other the perfect object of offerings. Like even if the object is not really the perfect one, but with the help of our conscience, with the help of our mind, we can take it as like we can motivate it or we can visualize it as the perfect one. So how it was happened is like, for example, like during the time of the Buddha, when he was in the Bodhisattvas, during the time of his when he was in Bodhisattva time, and he became he was born as the elephant one day. And what happened was that when a hunter in a disguise, wearing the robes, hiding his bow and arrow, and came to hunt the elephant, and when elephant see that hunter, he wore the robe, the monk's robes, and behaved like a monk. Then the elephant thought he is a like kind of monk, so he is not going to harm this person, hunter, disguised in a monk robe, and shoot an arrow and killed and he was died. And at that time, what the elephant thought was, then object of an offering is not the perfect one because he is a hunter. Though he thought that he is a harmful person. Now my body and all this, my ivory and all this are going to offer for the harmful person. But at the same time, he thought he tried to change his mind and keep thinking that this person is a real perfect monk. So now I'm offering my body and all the flesh and ivory and everything to that person, which is perfect monk. So this is how he motivated. This is how he generated his mind, and he offered. So because of that, even the object of offering is not a perfect, because of the one who is offering by the person who offered that has this kind of motivation, the perfect motivation. Because of that, his offering becomes extensive offering. So therefore, it is said that even if the object is not perfect, but one's own motivation has to be perfect.
那么这个在供养其中一个成分就是供养的对象要圆满的。如果说是供养的对象是佛陀或者是僧团的分子的话，这当然是圆满的这个供养对象。但是有的时候即使供养的对象不是很这个最好的，但是如果我们的发心是纯正，我们把他们观想是最好的，那也是很圆满的。这边有一个故事，就是这佛陀释迦牟尼佛在成佛以前，有一世身为菩萨，他是转世成大象。但时候有这个猎人呢，就拿了个武器，那为了要猎杀这个大象，他就伪装成一个比丘，披着僧袍，然后就那因为这个大象这个以为他就是这个出家的比丘，所以就没有太在意。那后来那个猎人靠近大象之后，就用这个箭把这个大象给射杀了。射杀了之后呢，大象一开始讲说，我把我这个身体给了这个不清净的人，这样子是不好的。但是后来他马上转念，要把他这个猎人观想成一个圆满的这个比丘，那么他把自己的身体这样供养出去，所以这个也算是一个圆满的这个供养的对象了，因为他自己的这个观想的关系。所以有的时候其实供养的对象不是那么圆满，我们自己因为发心自己观想的缘故呢，他们也可以变成是一个圆满供养的这个对象。能够这样做，这也是无比无上的一种供养。
日的移动啊，汤移动啊，他的那个移动那个我不看这个破玩意那样，在他们觉得他们说个落不出大国家，你阿兰给300个大都送， 대 종차례지라 네 탐체 대 산제당 잔출 선바당 다 등조 차상라 야트는 제바 불기 선은 뭐 제바이나 대기 출한 소능기 초사야라 양 탐케게 초사당지 차와레스 갈레지에 먹어와지 그냥 아주 파도 다지 사자 진의 진은 로그 값수 이동은 응본담은 마음 통야 여러와 대인도 전에 등속코지 다전 통화점지 될은 녀몽기 젠도 마송화 전에 양진 최배경 응본이도 수로 다도 손에 부여자와이나 탐케기 주바던데 차투레스 대인도 전에 당보고는 당진 창마 맨동도 제대는 팽이 말에 송바래 대인도 다도 손데 초사 탐케시에 서야 되래
第22记
Lord Jesus maintains that ownership is a skillful means to gather the accumulation of merit and wisdom. Why do he stated that? Is that usually we have been saying that statement there in order to free oneself from the cyclical existence for all sentient beings. One should give up the self-grasping in the sense, the grasping of the things and events, whatever is there. So one should have to give up that grasping to that things or events, whatever. But here, what Jiten Sumin said is, sometimes it is required to have a self-grasping to that things and events. And there are two kinds of, one is to avoid and one is to have this for the time. It helps. It's a kind of skillful means. For example, for like beginners, from the very beginning, if you avoid everything, then it becomes obstacle sometimes, as we have stated in one of the Vajra verses up there in one of the section, for example. And here, and in the same way here, what Lord Jesus means is first we need to have a conscience of holding self-grasping for things. Like, for example, if you are staying in one kind of like place and like very beautiful place, one should first take it up as oneself. It is mine place. Or if you see like beautiful like mountains, the flowers or whatever. So first we have to acquire that beautiful flower or mountains or whatever. You should take it into account that this is mine. And after taking this account to oneself, then offering. Now I'm offering to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, or all the bodhisattvas. So this is a very skillful means of accumulating a greater amount of merits. So therefore, it is required. First, you take it as so. Even for what Lord Jesus said is, first you take it into yourself, granted as self ownership. Then after that, you can make it offerings. So this is how when it is done for the accumulation of vast accumulation of through the like skillful means.
妥善保存为极之方便第22计。那么这个有的时候我们要供养一个东西的，我们自己所拥有这个东西也是很重要的，可以帮助我们累积智慧与福德的这个资粮。那么我们一般供养就是为了自他的缘故脱离轮回而来供养的。一般的看法认为是说我们要放下我执，但是吉天松公主是在这边提到说，有的时候有我执也是有好处的。那一般对我执的一种想法呢，就是说要避免，要舍弃。第二个层次呢，就是可以把我执变成一种方便法门。所以在这边他提到，如果说对初学者，如果我们一切要舍一切，逃避一切的话，有的时候这种逃避会变成一种障碍。那么吉天松公主师有在这边提到，应该止我执，就是当我们在一个很美妙的地方， 然后你可以想说升起我执心，说这个是我的，但是我要把它供出去，这样子也是好的。因为我们看到那个美丽的山头，看到许多美丽的花朵，那因为我们要供养，必须是我们的才能够供出去啊。所以呢，我们才能够供养三或者是菩萨等等，佛法僧三宝或者是菩萨。那因为这都是如果能够有这样子的有一点点的这种执着我执的话，这也是累积功德的一种善巧方便法门。所以他认为我们要先把有自己所拥有的东西才能够供出去，所以这样的这个我执是可以的。因为它是一种方便法门。
마음바 소소 배주 지역을 따다서 렌트 받지 차이로와 때마다 다서 물대야나 강배낭로야나 지 다서 샤고 돌아차 란로야 님 같은 데 용벌 때나신데 뭐와서야 돼 백해 침불에 단데네 마드네 뭐와 지당한테 송인 거요.
第23计所积轮涅诸善回善根。
Dedicate the accumulated and inherent virtues of all of samsara and nirvana. So what it means here is Lord Jiten Sungyen states about the importance of the dedications. So what he said is dedication is very important from the very beginning, at the time of the motivation, and in the actual process or cultivation, practice second, and also in the end, make a dedication. The proper dedication is required. So here what he says is pro dedication. Why? Because what Lord Jiten Sungyen stated is that we have done a lot of merits in our past, that merits which could make us a Buddha. But somehow we have never been Buddha until now. Why? The reason is that because we don't know how to do the dedication. At the same time, we don't know. And sometimes we did the dedication in the wrong way. So that's how we get problem and we got stuck here. So therefore, what he said is the dedication is very important. So we should doing the dedication even from the past, not only from now, but also for the past. We have done a lot of great merits that we could be able to become a Buddha by that. So what the Lord Jiten Sungyen said is, when you do a dedication, a right dedication, then it is bound to give consequences. If you make a mistake for the dedication, the wrong dedication, then it is bound to give the mistake or the wrong kind of consequences. So therefore, what he said was, for example, we have to, very important to make this the dedication. If you keep money, it's like you're keeping your money in the bank. If you keep the money in the bank, then in the near future, you're entrusted that you could be able to get that money and you can do something. But if you keep the money at your home or somewhere else, which is not proper to keep it, then we never know whether you're able to get back that money or not. So in the same way, once you have offered your dedication, your merit is stored there. If you have dedicated your merit for the good purpose, with the right motivation and all this, then it is bound to give you the very right consequences. So therefore, it is stated that the dedication is very important.
在这一季呢，吉天颂公祖师讲到回向的重要性，这是所积轮涅诸善回善根。那这个所谓的三圆满，一开始就是发心的圆满，然后正行修行的过程当中，造作的过程是或者是供养啊等等，这都是圆满的。最后呢，结行的部分就是供养的结行很重要，这就是回向的部分。那么如果说我们去思维我们过去世一直到现在所做过的许多的功德的话，足够让佛，但是我们到今天还未成佛，为什么呢？主要是我们不知道如何供这个回向，或者是没有回向。不知道如何回向，就是不知道如何正确的回向。我们应该要对这一点有很清楚的认识，对于过去所做的善行，也要有一些正确的回向。如果真能这样做，我们今天都可以成佛的。但是如果我们的回向有误的话，那么我们的结果可能就会跟着我们回向的方向走，而有误差的。所以就有点像说为什么要回向，就是当我们今天有的钱，我们把它留在身边的话，那么但是我们就不知道这个钱是不是安全啊，它是不是会有成长啊。但是如果我们把它放在银行的话，这个钱不但是安全，还可以累积利息。所以呢，我们对于回向应该要有这样子正确的了解，就是一切善行都应该要回向。
마사 베게와 랑싱 유 베게와 디인두 다 디게와 사베 게와 당 유베 게와 차상 등아랑 로그 줄 초직도 뿡네 드랭에 드네지 딱 칸던지 제바이나 덴데기 게와 당 냠도 단다 콘데 군지 사베 게와 당 섬젠 탐제라 유베기 데버리시비 닝부 게와 대탐제대 로그 줄 초직도 되네 되네 대라때네 당근도 남중 뭐놈 제기와 다당 콘데 탐제지 되숨도 사바당 예배 예외 자완 디스 게와 템속이 되네 다당 심제 탐제 뉴르도 라나메바 양답으로 조배 장주름 보시 토바라 주지 송도와 된대지는 되는 화와 제고레스 되네 송에 띠인도 산에 지다한테네 주배왕 주드네 빠종을 붙이게 내려져 송도와 맞아더니 뭐와배 자침보 야부 야마시나 대도 가르치고 그래서나 잠배빠의 제대로 쳔바당 세 디쇼로까지 쫓네 삼노당 드는 뭐와 양다 차로를 송래 그래서나 잠배 양당 진례에서당 군두성보 ten속이 계획이 자와 뭐와 간데 나여바 나신 내 계와 대양 콘속이 계와 대나신 차와라 쇼 슬랍자와이나 드니 뭐와 양다 차 투구를 전에 다 된대시는 드니 뭐 뭐래서야 됐단 말에
So here when we talk about the dedication, now what is to be dedicated? What are the thing that we can dedicate? So here it's stated that the one which is accumulated by oneself in this cyclical existence, and also like oneself and all other sentient beings, the accumulations accumulated by oneself and all other sentient beings, and also the Shravakayana, the Arhat of the Shravakayana, the Arhat of the like individual realizer, and Bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, and all these, the merits of all these in the Nirvana and Samsara, which is known as like kind of the compounded merits. This, and on the other side, the uncompounded merit, which is actually usually stated by Kajipa, not only the Kajipa, but also it was stated by the third turning developed Dharma, and also which is stated by the Buddha, that is known as the Buddha nature of all sentient beings, which is compounded. And we have a compounded and uncompounded phenomena of merits. So all the sentient beings have the Buddha nature, and that Buddha nature is not compounded, it's uncompounded. And this kind of merits oneself in the past and also now here, and all the merits collected together, conjoined together, and we have to make merits that in the same way as it was stated, like Jidasumgil stated, that oneself and other has accumulated in the past, present, and future, and this should be dedicated in order to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings. So this is how it has to be done. The dedication has to be done like this. But somehow, if you don't know how to make a dedication, then as here in the Pachon Rinpoche also stated, if you don't know how to do this, then you should do like Manjushri, they say in the text that Jambal as it was known by the Manjushri and also like Samantha Bhadra and so on and so forth, how they have dedicated in the same way. My dedication also goes in the same way as they have done or they have did it. So if you do this kind of dedication, then even if you don't know how to do the dedication, it goes exactly like, because you have stated in the similar to their dedication, and then you take that, my dedication also becomes the same as like the Manjushri, the Samantha Bhadra, and so on and so forth, all the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So then our dedication becomes the same kind of dedication. So therefore, it has to be done like this. Last.
那么对于回向来讲，有什么是可以回向的呢？那么不管是说在轮回过程当中自己或他人的所累积的一些善行善业都可以回向，然后供给这个甚至包括这个解脱圣的这个圣者声闻独觉跟阿罗汉的圣者菩萨等等，对于他们和众缘和合的功德或者是非众缘和合的功德都可以回向。那么什么是非众缘和合的？比如说我们自己的佛性，在三转法的里面有提到，佛性它不是缘起的，它不是众缘和合的，所以我们把一切的善行、一切功德都统合，不管是来自于自己，来自于他人，不管是过去、现在、未来的一切善行，都应该要回向。那如果说我们不知道如何回向的话，巴琼仁波切曾经讲过，说我们可以学习文殊菩萨或普贤菩萨的回向，我亦如是回向，就好像我们在回向文里面有提到，犹如文殊勇士大智慧，复是普贤菩萨如是性，学习彼等有一切我学识此功德等一切见回向。所以虽然我们今天不知道如何回向，但是我们知道文殊菩萨、普贤菩萨他们的回向，他们的善行是圆満的，所以这样子回向也算是一种圆滿的这个回向了。
대나신도 소소랑 게더니 자외라만 지체도요 뭐고래 고세샤베 연운도 대야다 투지 공반조야다 오다 텔라소베 체도 뭐고도 자네 드는 건좀 뭐와 가르기 체도 제고를 써야 돼 심첸 지부자마인바 심첸다 산제다 드는 라말라소바 탐제기 체도 드는 뭐와 제고래 써야 되던 바래 那第
24记最后一记是一回善根于佛法上师。
So now the 24th verses explains about to whom it should be dedicated. Usually they are saying like it should be dedicated for all sentient beings. Only for the sentient beings. The sentient beings need this. But here it is also stated that what the Lord Jidin Sumit emphasizes is that it has to be dedicated for the Buddha, one's own guru, the root guru, one's own, and also the Buddha of the past, Buddha of the future, Buddha of the present. Like, for example, in order to accomplish the wishes of all the Buddhas of the past, and in order to have a healthy life and long life of the Buddha of the present, and in order to accomplish the wishes of the future Buddhas and so forth. So it is stated that why do we do this? Because we have a story like, for example, when the Buddha during the time of the Buddha, he has got sore in his leg, on the feet, sorry. And it is very difficult to cure. And whatever the medicine they use it, the healing process is very slow. So in that time, there is one kind of monk, the disciple of the Buddha, who has dedicated his kind of merits in order to overcome the Buddha's sore of his feet. So because of that special dedication, it was said that it is cured. So therefore, in the same way, we should have to do the dedication for all sentient beings, of course, but at the same time, to all the Buddhas and one's own root gurus, and also for all sentient beings to ultimately to attain Buddhahood. So therefore, it is required, even our dedication for the Buddha, one's own gurus, the root guru, and everybody. So this is one also needs to make dedication for the Buddhas and the gurus. This is what it means.
第24纪有讲到这个回向善根与佛法上师。那这个我们主要解释我们回向的对象是什么。一般而言，我们认为说回向的时候是回向众生。那在此呢，吉天松公主是强调我们要回向佛陀以及根本上师。佛陀甚至可以回向过去、现在、未来的三世诸佛，为了圆满过去诸佛的祈愿，为了这个回向现世佛的这个长寿，以及回向未来佛的诸事都能够成办成就。那这边有一个故事，就是释迦牟尼佛在世的时候，他有一次脚痛，那非常的难治，治疗过程非常的漫长，也没有太大的这个进步。但有一个弟子就把他自己所累积的一切功德回向佛陀的这个脚痛能够痊愈，这也是一个非常善巧方便的一种回向。所以呢，我们回向的对象是跟众生都能够得正成佛，所以我们要回向做一切的这样子的回向。到这边呢，这个菩提心要品，或者是说菩萨戒的第4品已经讲完了，接下来就是密咒经的这个第5品。再念一次。其他之中亦有密咒教，心生灌顶义时方得灌，虽为一方本尊亦可灌，不生了证喻义不通晓，生起次第本来即成圆，自生行者须入坛仪轨，一切本尊具相好功德，主修经续所言诸本尊，上等根器需诵修广轨，是表一切细论之因缘。有些事业作之要续生，以续不生之意此续生。无比气脉修炼不成佛，是为佛所教邪修持。应知一切密意皆无为，应取非相之。以知如法觉，不动等持三界轮回因，三生各自亦具其他二。密咒修持定不可无戒，谈为成道障碍经续同。密咒亦不 可令恶成善。毗那牙说：恶者咒一恶，尽除烦恼方是善事果，非为施展神通，行诸法，乃为金刚阿鼻喻众生，正量高超上师速导引。
Usually what it states is that, like when we talk about the secret mantrayana, usually most of some scholars stated that the secret mantra vehicle has come into existence only during the time of Buddha Shakyamuni, and it is not possible, or it's not happened with the other Buddhas, time of the other Buddhas. And whereas the Lord Jidaswami stated that all other Buddhas also, during the time of other Buddha, also have the secret mantrayana vehicle. He practiced that, and they practice, all the Buddha practice the secret mantrayana vehicle. Because of practicing the secret mantrayana practice, even the three Buddhas, the Buddha past, present, and future Buddha, they all practice the sacred mantrayana. And with the combination of the sacred mantrayana and the sutrayana together, they all got enlightened because of that. And also because they got enlightened through that, they also taught the teaching of sacred mantrayana to their disciples and to their followers. So therefore, there is no question that they don't teach the teachings of the sacred mantrayana. So because of this reason, he stated that all the Buddhas also teach the sacred mantrayana. But the differences is there between the Buddha Shakyamuni and other Buddhas. It's like a kind of average that, like for example, the Lord Jidaswami taught the mantrayana in a full scale or in a large scale, whereas the other Buddhas taught the mantrayana vehicles in a very lower scale. So therefore, it is known as what we stated there, in like Shakyamuni taught the sacred mantrayana, but like other Buddha didn't teach. It doesn't mean it didn't teach it, but in a very low scale. So this is why the Lord Jidaswami stated that all the Buddhas, past, present, future, also taught, and also all the rest of the other Buddhas also taught the secret mantrayana.
所以密咒戒的第一季，其他之中亦有密咒教。为什么有这样讲呢？因为当初有学者认为，这个讲到密咒称呢，只有是释迦牟尼佛特别的独特的地方，其他的佛在世的时候都没有讲到这个密咒称的修行跟内容。那么吉天中公祖师在这边指出来说，其他佛在世的时候也有讲到这个如何来修学，他们也因为自己修学密咒称呢，三世诸佛都同时修了而得到证悟，所以他们也同时有教他们弟子密咒称的东西，一切诸佛都有讲到密咒称。那差别在哪里呢？差别在于就是在释迦牟尼佛在世的时候，他对于密咒称讲的比较广大，讲的比较多，而其他佛在世的时候，他们对于密咒称讲的比较少，或者是比较低层次的那个密咒称，但是都有讲到。
tani kari gogurusna jamjogi tola chanchugi simde goyore tendu chanchu simbegi lamgi go ngomade simchi seyadere kasan tiba chechung chibur simchi sina sungba ta di tone tani jamjodang chanchugi simni gi nyamnen dan rewe tone sanghala shuguyona tangbo go de karsna wang to goyore 상하는 주부고 왕세게 tindu 가생한조 공직이 나라 tene ndodan 하기 제대로 왕이 송송한 텐데 인도잖아에 당한조 티버 숨게 람라지 슈고도잖아에 당부 슈세기 고데 잠로 sem지 왕숨보데레 인도잖아에 다 잠로다 sem지게 고된 한조 시에 차로 인도 다 다는데네 왕게 고데 시에 용거래
第二季心生灌顶义时方得灌。
of the vital point of the vow of the secret mantra, Jiten Sungin maintains that when the meaning of an empowerment has arisen in one's mind stream, one has obtained it. And what it states is like, usually we have three different kind of division, like first comes like a Shravakayana, then there comes like Pratik Buddhayana and Bodhisattvasayana. Whereas here we are going to talk about the common vehicle by engaging in the like kind of the true refuge, then we become a common vehicle of the second one is the motivation, or taking the motivation of bodhicitta, which makes oneself as the Buddha Bodhisattvas, and is known as the Bodhisattvayana. And the third word is the sacred mantra yana, which is received, last time we talked about it, like the three doors, like first the common vehicles is the like kind of going to, how you become the Buddhist is like receiving the true refuge. Then after that, just go to, receiving the vows of the motivation of Bodhisattva's vows, mind, Bodhisattva's bodhicitta. And after that, the sacred mantra is by engaging into the empowerment, receiving of empowerment, and so on and so forth. So now from here, we're going to talk about we have talked about the two, that is the Bodhisattvas and the general Buddhists. And now we are going to talk about the sacred mantra.
那么第二句就是心生灌顶义时方得灌。那么在我们心绪中升起这个意义的时候，就得到灌顶了。那一般我们讲说三乘的指的是声闻缘觉乘，或者菩萨乘，或者是金刚乘。那在这边指的也是这样子，就是共乘，就是声闻缘觉乘是大家所共有的。然后菩萨乘，受皈依，然后持菩提心、普戒等等，这是菩萨乘的。那金刚乘的特点就是在接受灌顶，所以在这边提到的这两者，这个菩萨乘之后，以及这个声闻缘觉乘之后，再谈到密咒乘的修行。所以这个前面两章不就是先讲别解脱要义吗？就是这个声闻别解脱戒，然后菩提心要义讲的菩萨戒，那现在这是密咒要义，就是讲的是密咒戒。
왕도연기 고와지 롱을 랩톱하지 중앙이나 되네 대라 왕 토바스는 순거래 왕기 된다데 나랑 줄에 제바이나 되네 왕 토바레스 된두 왕도연 줄에 제나 송도와 대신에 등상 배차 망치와는 왕도연 줄에 제네스 도와 단다 빼닝 나라 왕도연 줄에 제나스 왕기 된다 줄에 제바이나 저런 왕 토바레스 대마도 지 본방골라 톱 두스제라 톱 왕게 된다 자와네 하마고 와이나 데로 왕 톱아스 랍투 마레스 덴두 왕게 된다데 줄라 카드 제송와이나 데니 저라다 문에게 왕데 대신에 데는 톱도 그래스나다 조고 데네 왕 톱다 마도 세야데 된 줄라 제 톱다 마도 세야 디도는 데 나와래
So here, when we talk about the empowerment has arisen in one's mind stream, one has obtained it. Usually, what we have in our mind is that when we receive the empowerments, like when they keep when the master keep the vase in our like head, then we think we got the empowerment. So it's good that our head is a little bit tough and rough. So we have received a lot of empowerments. That if our head is not that tough, even our head becomes a flat because of receiving a lot of empowerments. So it's kind of job. But here, and also when you receive the nectar on your tongue, then you think this, you receive the nectar. And when you receive the vase on your head or empowerment on your head, then you think that you receive the empowerment. This is actually just kind of symbol to receiving the empowerment and receiving the tasting the nectar or the ditsi. But whereas what Jiten Sumin stated is, unless and until if you didn't get the meaning of it, then you didn't receive the empowerment. You didn't get the empowerment. So it is stated that when the master is giving you the empowerment, from the start until the end of the empowerment, the masters keep describing the meaning of the empowerment, what you were receiving empowerment, and how you are receiving empowerment, and so on and so forth. That time one should not distract and listen carefully. And if you know about the meaning of how the empowerment is received, then once you know this one, then only you receive the empowerments. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how many empowerments you receive. Up until your head becomes so flat, you will not get the empowerment. So here, the differences between you get the empowerment or not is just to have the understanding of the empowerment or not. This is the point here. That's all.
那在这边讲说，心生灌顶义时方得灌，就是我们大概这个灌顶的时候，我们心绪中升起这个体悟的时候，这个才算是得灌。那我们有一般人认为说，我们在领受灌顶的时候，从上师手上拿的宝瓶那边碰到我们的头顶的时候，我们认为这样是得灌呢，或者是说我们这个喝的甘露丸，或者喝的甘露水，或者是吃的甘露丸等等，这是得灌。那还好呢，我们的头壳算是够硬，要不然我们一辈子领受了这么多的灌顶，有这么多次这个宝瓶碰到我们头顶都掉扁了。那一般人以为这样就是得灌，但是吉川颂公祖师说并不是这样子的。那我们如果不去了解灌顶的意义，就可以说是没有得灌。那么在灌顶的过程当中，上师是从头到尾就讲述这个灌顶这个意义，或者是那个相对的本尊的意义。我们应该要专心听，从头到尾专心听，才能够算是得灌。要不然呢，我们只是领受灌顶的这个仪式，那么等到我们受那么多灌顶，头都压扁了，也没有办法说你是得灌了，因为你不了解它的这个意义。
같은데 지기 왕 톱술 되래 좋아 다 계시 대전 마정 와이나요 왕분딩 가르고래서나 왕 꾸르윤도 잖아 도르질 로방게다 왕 점바 신도 꾸르윤도 벤나 당은조 상가 라메게 가서 왕 이제서기로와 분배왕 세야지 상회왕 세야지 시라고 예시게 왕 세야지 그냥 왕 이제바세요 왕 이제 용으로와 근데 왕분 링게 간산도 지나 분배왕의 군내 모두는 용도 전에 뒤 좀생나 때는 뭐 양다고 지금 트네 되네 제름 기념내 간데 지구위와 차상하고도 같이 차투고 그래 왕문등이나 분배왕 도바다 되네 상회왕 토용도 전에 하던데다 조름들라 senje zorimdang seme zorle wingurwa 대인도잖아요. 왕 니바당 왕 숨바던데 줄을 제윤도 천재의 조름 등조 검수를 양다바 신도바치 차고 그래. 던데기 고아지 레고 그래. 대니 왕 지바꾸로 윤도잖아요. 세미 찾아진부 그 대검 검수를 시해봐 검도바 던데기 고아지 레고 그래. 대인도 다 된소라지나 왕본 등기 왕돈 줄을 제소로 인송해요. 다 왕보 타마 간대지 많달라. 만달라 간대지 고요래서나 숨바 간대지 고요래서나 다 매도 머롱와 인지메 가르고 그래서나 왕 꾸르용도 전에 가르송도 내르지 송도와 내르지 송송아 내르지 렌도와서네 꼭지 고와 니시 야부지 제토야 어떤지 고요래스 텔로 왕도 몬트바 다 만달라 대고요다 잡데 칼레 카보레 링데야 지치네 칼레 카보레데 다 숨바딩이 버도 고래 숨바레 계시 숨바 텐데지 마종원이나 사당 돌라 왕그로다 제버지에요 말송도 와는 진주라기 다 사당 도텐데 가는 간주 품파 고라샤 왕인 jam네 제하고 말와 디나시 차송하레 스트니 왕 토고 말에 송바레 디인도 자네 간주 왕 쉬야라 뺀 되바 요레 왕라 귀샵 요레 다 가르고 그러서나 왕 나메 값수 된다데 야부지 라메 문에양 로마라 고와 트트바지 고레 로메 문에양 라메 강송백이 된다데 고통ken지 고요르데 와야 대인도잖아요 왕도 줄레진의 토바세 텐데 차진지 참고 있어래
And here, when we talk about this, the empowerment has arisen in one's mind stream, is that, like it was stated by the all-knowing risen Chedok. And he have stated this one in a three classes. That is the sharper faculty, then the middle faculty, and the lower faculty. And what is stated is that, like for this sharper faculty is like the King Indra Bodhi. When King Indra Bodhi received the empowerment, just right by receiving the empowerment, he was enlightened. He was liberated. So because of his kind of understanding and his kind of, the devotion and everything were all coming there together. So it's enlightened. He was enlightened during the process of receiving an empowerment. And also, like, there are three different kind of like faculties within the sharper faculty. The sharper faculty of the sharper one, and the middle of the sharper faculty, then the lowest of the sharper faculty, and so forth. For example, then the middle faculties, when you receive the empowerments, when you're receiving kind of the four empowerments, the base empowerment, the secret empowerments, and the all this kind of and the word empowerment and the fourth empowerment and so forth. Whenever you receive the empowerment, then one should have to have the understanding of the Mahamudra. And with the understanding of that, then we'd go receive the teachings, then one get enlightened. This is the kind of the middle faculties. And the lowest faculty is that at least one should have to have the understanding. When the masters gives the empowerment, one should know that, oh, now this is the master saying, and this is what he's saying, and this is the meaning of the empowerment, and this is the kind of the empowerment we are receiving. At least one should have to have the understanding, the meaning of the empowerment, that what the master is giving. Otherwise, there's no point. like for example, you are giving an empowerment to the stone and to the earth or to the sand. Like there's no difference between the giving empowerment to the person or giving empowerment to the stone and sand. Like if you don't know the meaning of what, so therefore the master has to have like very perfect explanation of the meaning of the mantra, the empowerment, and also the disciple also should have that kind of devotion, right kind of motivation, right kind of concentration, and receive the teachings. Otherwise, it doesn't make any points. Like you're not going to receive the teachings. So therefore, here comes like a 3 different kind of like the faculties among receiving the empowerment, and also the empowerments. When we talk about empowerment, the followers of the empowerments are actually generally the sharper faculty, and also like for example, the sharpest faculty, when they receive the empowerment, they receive right after the empowerment, they enlightens or they liberated. Like in the same way, like if you draw a picture on the water, fever, then right after you draw it, it will vanish away. In the same way, the sharper faculty receive empowerment, right after that, they enlightens in the same way as the drawing of the water.
所以当我们讲到说让灌顶在心绪中升起呢，对于这点呢，全知的 Rinchen Chögyal 有这样子的讲法，对于3根的弟子呢，立根、中根跟顿根的人呢，有不同的情况。那么立根器的人，比如说当时的那个国王印抓菩提，他在领受灌顶的时候马上就证悟，但是因为他过去所累积的因缘福报啊，他自己对法的理解跟他自己的虔诚心众缘这样合在那个时候就成熟了，所以这是很上根器的人在领受灌顶那时候就证悟了，就解脱了。那在立根器又可以分成上根、上中根跟上下根3个层次。那再来讲到中根器的人，那么在领受4层灌顶的时候，就是品灌啊、秘密灌啊、语言灌跟第4灌等等呢，他们已经了解了大手印的意义，然后去领受这个灌顶，因为这样子能够得到证悟。那对于顿根的人呢，因为应该了解起码在现在来讲呢，这个是上师所讲的，那这个是上师所讲的这个意义，那个这是我们领受的这一个灌顶，那起码要有这样子的一个理解，要不然就没有任何的作用的，就好像给人灌顶跟给石头啊、泥沙灌顶一样的意义的。所以上师当然应该圆满的这个灌顶以及他的咒语本尊等等的修行，但是弟子也要有正确的发心跟理解跟在灌顶过程中的专注力，这样才算是圆满的。所以当我们提到说灌顶的时候呢，弟子在立根的时候通常呢就会依上师所说而做，那么上根者呢一接触到灌顶就马上解脱证悟，那么就好像在水上写字画画一样，你一画完这个痕迹马上就没有了，所以这个上根器的人呢，在领受灌顶的时候就立刻证悟解脱，也是这样子的道理。
라니了一切吧，是吧？等呢，去拿了一切吧，去登巴布说本了一切吧，送的话，等的一切送的前面呢，上下一切没为看啥这个上下往学两年7个月了呢，主要可能没法用吧的，点的啥呢？当不让你了一切吧，就过了送的话，让你我呢就你多进强个空帮，就主把人能入土个的，上边一切有吧就。
tene sangagi jingkor penan kolo denchogi jingkor jina te dumna dela tenen chog ngudu top to begi yichi yubaji tene dorjil lobon deyang rani la tende ngoto nang toba o tendegi lobon la yichi ba sanji nguyi samben dushida ne mata tendegi kansa jigi sanga nyangne chena tene juptu gre sungwe ba ta ti chidu jane kangdar yang sangagi wangkurungengi lobon ina yang kansa meyin ba jinga zo sanu tang sama northare wangkurwe kaptana wangkurungengi dorjil lobon deyang yedam gi sayung o yimba chiksar tabgu yuwa bena dencho wang shuwe kauso dencho wang kurungengi lobon de kholo dencho kungu yimba chiksar tanggu re deyang dencho jibu zam ma yimbara dandegi dorjil lobon degi phungbo nga bote jarwa renge ge ngo yimba jungwa nga bote jarwa yunga ge ranshi yimba bena dorjil lobon lan jungwa nga yorwa dorjil lobon phungbo nga yorwa phungbo nga jarwa renga jungwa nga jarwa yunga tene tena shindu 진치 된데 여러 미기 진치 나외 진치 라서 진치 중니 여러와 된소 장주 선바다 삼마 장주 선바주 장주 선마주 되네 되나신 안솔라 칙 된데도 주부게 칙 침보 된솔라 되네 초도 초모임바 된데지 니시 랭구요레 된도 도지 로벤 이나양 자와생아 창대바 초초모 창대바 장주 선바 삼마 창대바 된데지 되네 랑이 이나양 대다우게 랑신임바지 징고르길 라 파타베 가서 도르제 파무 지부이나야 뎀초타고 지부이나야 되게 차네 대라 저와 랭알라서고 탐제 창대베기 징고르인 바지 만중이 시제고래 왕가깔라 대신고에 배 개침으로 송도하는 진주라니 나나 송요래 왕꾸르 가서 징콜라 양 탐제 창대바 라마라양 탐제 창대바 라니라양 탐제 창대바 된대지긴 이고레스 진다 인데인 원 코리아 그 분바지불라한테 상대받지 상당고래 분바디 자리에 강인바 딘나나 이담게 라슈디여바 된대지긴 이시고도와 어 디인도 전에 다시 원고도 살아 잠깐 만용게 제발 요 말레스 라 초지바게 원고리 양타바 차도 그레스 조 소속이 이제당 되네 된 줄을 지야데 개체화래 스테선 거다.
근데 걔는 붙이디 초초모디 가르쳐나인바. 근데 풍봉아디 겨와체 조왕아디 юм체 개치두디 장주선바스마체 초아디 가르쳐나인바.
어디 측친지 남수 수보다 측친부 제여와 측
라스
측친부 제여 된소 초모 송래요.
라스 So now the verses,
虽为一方本尊亦可灌
empowerment is obtained even with a single deity. Usually, the scholars and practitioners in Tibet, they stated that when you are doing the empowerment, giving the empowerment, the mandala has to have the whole form of the deities together. Otherwise, it's not possible to have the empowerment. And what the Lord Jesus said is it's possible even within by one single deity, you can obtain the whole empowerment even within a single deity. And usually all the scholars said we have to have the 5 kind of Buddha, the male Buddha, and the 5 kind of the female Buddhas, and also the Bodhisattvas, and also the wrathful, and also all these things is required. But what Lord Jignesh stated is that it is possible within one single deity. For example, if we are practicing the Vajravarahi, or when we are practicing the like Hayagriva or whatever. And the reason why is that Lord Jignesh stated that it is possible, but we need to have when we are having this kind of empowerment, we need to have first is the clear motivation, or the clarity of the appearance. The clarity of the appearance is that the clarity of the masters, the clarity of the mandala, and the clarity of oneself, or clarity of oneself have to be there. Otherwise, it's not possible. So when we are practicing the empowerment, first one should have to have the understanding that one's own master is the pure as like a deity, or the mandala is the pure mandala, and oneself is also in the form of the idam, in the purity, in the pure form of idam. So like this kind of the purity has to be there. And after having this kind of purity, and when we visualize the deity or deity, whatever the deity, then it is possible. Why? The reason why is that even within our oneself, in a body of the masters, they have 5 aggregates. We also have 5 aggregates. And these 5 aggregates represents the 5 Buddhas. And also we have like kind of elements, which represents the 5 female Buddhas, sorry. And also we have the kind of bodhisattvas. That is, we have 6 senses and 6 outer object senses. All the senses are there. This can show that the Buddhas and bodhisattvas, the male bodhisattvas, female bodhisattvas here. Then also we have like kind of joints in our body, which represents all the fetishes, the protectors, the outer and inner protectors, all these shows. Therefore, when we are practicing, for example, when we're practicing the Vajravarahi, we should have to have the clear vision, clarity, the appearances of the Vajravarahi. We should have to have the clarity, the clear vision of the mandala, which were all inclusive of all these things. The Buddha, male Buddha, female Buddha, the bodhisattvas, and also the protectors and so forth. And also one should have to have the purity of one's own guru. And one should also, not only that, we should even have to have within all these Buddhas and all these bodhisattvas and all this are also inclusive there within the vase. So when we're receiving the vase empowerment, it has to have inclusive of all these things. So therefore, of course, there is no question for within ourselves. If that is inclusive within the vase empowerment, it is inclusive for all other empowerments. So therefore, Lord Jigen Sumil stated that so within the one single deity also include all these kind of deities, and it's possible that empowerment is obtained within a single deity.
通常根据这个西藏的学者或者修行者的讲法呢，就是在灌顶的时候，我们必须要一个圆满完整的坛城，要全部的本尊，不然不可能给灌顶的。但是吉天松公祖师讲说，即使我们只有一个本尊，也是可以得到灌顶的。因为西藏人是原先的看法是要必须有5方佛父、5方佛母、男女菩萨，然后愤怒跟极尽的护法等众等等才算是完整。但是吉天松公祖师认为说，即使是一个本尊呢，比如说我们是给金刚亥母或者是说马头明王的这个灌顶也是可能的，因为我们有这样子很清明的这个静观，我们对于金刚上师、对坛城、对自己都必须有静观，很清明的明觉，那么才能够得到灌顶。 那么上师是清净的，那我们知道说上师是由五蕴所组成的，我们也是由五蕴所组成的，就是五方佛父。那除了这个之外，我们都是由五大所组成，这就是五方佛母。那菩萨呢？男女菩萨就是6种感官呢，这可以这样子讲。那么暂停一下，我们身体这个关节就可以说是这个极分的这个护法，所以呢，我们在接受金刚亥母的灌顶的时候，我们应该有清楚的这个观想的本尊跟坛城，包括了佛父、佛母、男女菩萨、极尽愤怒的护法以及上师，然后宝瓶，这些都必须很清净的来观想。那么都在，并且这几个部分都包含在这个宝瓶里面，所以呢，这样子就可以说是一个，即使只有一个本尊也是可以的。
Threefold of one fold is that the Buddhas and then the Bodhisattvas, and then it comes like the ferocious one in a threefold kind of protection. And what the Rinzin stated is that we have to think about, like, when we are receiving the empowerment, all this, the 5 Buddha family, we are receiving the 5 Buddha family empower the empowerment to us, and whereas all this, the female Buddhas, they give a kind of the singing tone for when we are receiving the teachings, tones and songs and Dhamma songs and so forth. And whereas the Bodhisattvas, the male and female, they are in the kind of offering us the flowers and so on and so forth. And these ferocious deities, the protectors, are just trying to protect us from the obstacles and so on and so forth. In the pure vision, we should have to have pure vision for all these things. And this is very important. Otherwise, if you don't have this kind of pure vision, then no point that we are receiving the empowerment, that you would get an empowerment. So therefore, this is how one should have to have this kind of conscience when you are receiving an empowerment.
那么我们讲到3个层次，就是3层的保护，来自于佛陀、菩萨以及护法、愤怒护法。我们首先呢，我们是从五方佛父得到灌顶。那么我们这个五方佛母给予我们接受灌顶时，他们很开心的为我们吟唱种种的这个赞颂文。那么男女菩萨在那时候供花，然后愤怒的护法呢给予我们保护。对这些种种的下面，我们都必须要有静观，才能算得到护法，要不然的话，就是灌顶的来讲就没有意义的。回向。以此功德得证一切见，击败一切过患之敌众，生老病死杂乱之波涛，轮回大海，愿度众生。祈求上师贵体圣妙康，祈求尊生寿命及久长，祈求事业旗帜圆满胜，愿得无离上师其加持，犹如文殊勇士大智慧，复是普贤菩萨如是行。学习彼等一切我学习，此功德等一切尽回向。佛陀三身得正之加持，法性不变真谛之加持，生邪坚固聚集之加持，如是回向其愿成就。以我以及一切有情众，三世所积善业与佛性，愿我与等诸虚空诸众生，速证无上正等觉妙宝，所知遍照遍智法之真，缘起界处自在之共八人千八之教法遍有记，讲修愿由文修师修持之。殊胜菩提心妙宝，为生极者愿生极，生极者亦不退，其人辗转更增上。谢谢各位今天一早起来参加这个上课，或者亚洲的法友这个熬夜来参加这个法教。明天也是同样的时间。
Have the translators here to say hello and greeting to you, Kanchenla.
他现在要所有的这个翻译的口译的人跟这个堪千来打招呼。
可惜。Thank you.
His Rinpoche said, "Thank you for everybody."
Ja, danke für die Grüße nochmal an der Stelle.
So all translators, you are now no longer in the interpretation room. You can say hello to Kanchenla before he leaves.
Ale laso ta number lenje changma samri tashi dele ta chena ba nge tis thia mang tha du de
o nanga mi do
oh las mo ngan sam tis mang bu no do ah tene kusere number lenje changma
Kusering.
ah
Nee.
okay
Victoria, Rocco, Alex, please say something to Rinpoche.
Tashile, Kanchenla.
Mr. Alex.
Sonamla,
Oh,
Victoria.
Rocco.
Tashile,
那现在呢，就是所有的这个翻译的人一一跟那个堪千打招呼，并且谢谢堪千以及堪布，有中文的 Rocco， 这个苏俄文的那个 Victoria， 还有这个西班牙文的 Alex， 然后中文有另外一个翻译Lama Concho， 然后还有德文的翻译等等，还有越南文的叔叔。好，那这就是今天就到此，明天同样的时间。当然，他还有 Campo Kinley 为那个 Kanchen 来做翻译。
Okay. Thank you. So wonderful.
谢谢。
So, thank you very much.
明天同一时间加州早上7点半，亚洲是10点半。感谢各位，晚安，早安。
Okay. Kanchenla, let me unmute everybody, all the participants here.
现在呢，他还要主办的单位还要让大家都能够让所有参与者可以打开他们的镜头跟麦克风，他们可以跟Kanchen跟Kempo来打招呼。
Dạ thưa quý vị, chúng ta có thể gửi lời chào đến thầy, đến Kanchenla trước khi thầy rời phòng.
Thank you, translator.
Kanchenla, hi Kanchenla. Do you remember the first
Thank you, Master.
in TMC with the holiness? First time you are in TMC with holiness for the Namjama retreat. In this moment, holiness promise that to give you to us the temple to teach to us.
这位法友在讲说，过去法王越南的时候，他们跟法王自贡法王来请法，所以呢，法王答应说有机会请那个Kanchen来跟各位来教导那个共齐正法一意，现在因缘成熟的，所以谢谢。谢谢各位，明天同